Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to summarize the locators what we have learned so far. So there are various locators we have seen. Those are ID, name, and then you have seen link text, partial link text, and also you have seen CSS selector. And there is another locator that is class name, and also you have tag name. These two we did not see. We will see these two now, and along with this we will have one more thing called XPath. We are going to learn all these things XPath as a separate session because there are so many things where you will be able to identify with the XPath that we are going to do it in a separate session. So for now, let me show you what are all the things we have covered. Let me take this as an example. Okay, I'm going to take this website as an example, and then I'll show you what are all the elements we have identified and how we did write the code for that. So let's say if you look at this, how are we going to identify the element? Right click, inspect, and then go to the respective element, and then see you have the name property, the value is email, ID property email. That's what we have written in our previous uh, classes where we have identified the elements with different methods. Let's say if I take these as an example, I'm just taking it from the previous, and then your URL is Facebook URL. Take this URL and then put it here, and then you are maximizing the window. Till this we have seen already. Now if I wanted to write using ID or name, this we already know. Find by dot ID, and then you will be writing the value, property value, which is there for ID. Let us say if I go here, and then see here, ID is email. So this is how you will be writing. So you will be writing here email, and if at all, and then you will be writing the send keys method. I'm not going to execute this program again because we have already seen this. So what I wanted to tell you is I wanted to demonstrate all the locators one more time here. Similarly, if I wanted to do it with driver dot by dot name, and then you see there is a name, email, name value is email, email. So there is a ID and there is a name. So you can identify using any of these methods, whatever the way you wanted to do it. So what will happen? So you will get a question, which locator I have to make use to identify the elements. So generally most of the organizations will go with simple locators when you are doing any POC. POC stands for proof of concept. That means if you wanted to demonstrate some sample scripts or something, so at that time they may go with the available properties which are there in the applications. But if you are doing in a project, either they might instruct you to only use XPath, or they might ask you to use ID and name property. And if at all you are not able to identify using ID and name the element, either you can go with XPath also. So these instructions will be given it to you. So based on that, you need to make use of the elements. Now we understand ID, we know how to recognize. Name we have seen, link text and partial link text. We have seen one more example where we see that the demo guru 99 register page also we have seen, right? So that is what I am just showing you. So there is a link. If I go and show you, there are two things which we have seen. One is you can click on this click here link, and then here. So if you look at here, how did we identify? You go here and then see anchor tag. Whenever there is a anchor tag, then that we will be calling it as link text. Either you can give click here complete link text, or if you can give click, if you give only half of the text, that we call it as partial link text. That is how you will be able to identify the elements, and you will be able to recognize the elements. So, and the next one is class name. I'll show you how you're going to identify the element with the class name. So let me take you to this, and then if I have to identify this box, checkbox, so generally we will be, what we will be doing, we will be taking the name property or ID property. But now what I wanted to do is I wanted to take the class property. So take this and then go here and go to your script, driver dot, I'll be writing driver dot find element by dot class name, and then you will be writing click. So if you write like this, then it will identify using the class UI input label check. That is the class name for this checkbox. And let me run and show you how it works. If you run this program, you will be able to see how you can identify the element using class name. See here, the checkbox should get checked after it opens the application. So we have written opening the browser and then maximizing the browser, and then we will be checking the checkbox. So don't interrupt the script when it is running. Just wait, and if at all you feel like the script is not running properly, just wait for some time and see that. See, now it got maximized, and then your checkbox is checked. But if I have to identify the same thing with this box, that is the input box, see here, I have the class name for this input box also. See here, class input text. But I will not be taking, to identify this element, I'll not be taking class property, because I have another element which is of the same kind of class name. So if you see here, password also has the same class name. That's the reason whenever one or more element are having the same kind of property value, in that case you should not take that. You have to take the unique property for a particular element, then only it will get recognized. But if you take in this case, it will always enter into the first box only. So let me try to do that. So I'll be taking input text, and then I'll be writing for, see, this is for password input text I have taken. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to write on top of the cell, right, driver dot find element by dot class name, and then I'll be writing the input text. I'll be writing dot send keys abc at the rate of gmail.com. So what it will do, it will enter the first element in the page, but it will not go to our respective element. So let me stop this and then clear and then run the script. See what is going to happen. It will invoke the same thing, and then the input text, what we thought it is for password, but password and email also, both of them are having the same input text as a class name. That's the reason it will enter always in the first box. So in this case we will not be able to make use of the class. So what are we going to do in such cases? Either you might be using the ID or name you can use. That is how you will be able to recognize the elements. So let me tell you one last thing, that is the tag name. So when I say tag name, let me open this one. See, this is our demo website for link text. See here. So there are two links. So if I try to right click and then inspect, see there is a tag, the anchor tag here. This is for this first one and this is for the second one. Okay, so now what I'm going to show you is I'll be showing you how are we going to get the tag name. So I'm going to take the first one alone for now. So if I have to identify the first element and I have to click on the first element, I'm going to take A because there are two A's. Okay, so here also you cannot use by tag name because both of them are having tag name. So in this case, if I use link text or partial link text, then I'll be able to click the corresponding element. For example, if I take only tag name and try to identify the element, what is going to happen? See here, I will go here and then I will open this application. Let me take this application path, and then I'll be giving this application path here. And then what I'm going to do is driver dot find element by dot tag name. So what is my tag name? The tag name is A. If I give this and then dot click, it will click on the first element. What is our first element here in this case? If you see, your first element is amazon.com, but your second element, the tag anchor tag, is having google.com, but it will always click the first one. So if I have to run this program, see what is going to happen. It will click on the first link, that is amazon.com. So that's the reason whenever there is a property value which is not unique, in that case you should not take that property to identify your element. But if I have to identify the other element, let us say if I have to do that with another element, that is for the second link, if I have to check, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to make use of the link text property, and then I'll be giving the link text as click here. So if I do the same thing for this, using instead of this, if I use driver dot find element by dot link text, and then if I give that property, then it will click on the link which I am expecting. So that is your Google link. Now run the program and see what is going to happen. So these are the various ways where you can identify the elements using the locator strategy. So the strategies we have already seen. So we have various things for identifying the elements. One is ID, name, link text, partial link text, CSS names, CSS selectors, class name, and also XPath. So XPath, I'll just touch upon a couple of things on the XPath. So and then we will discuss XPath in a detailed manner in the next video. So what I'm going to do is, for example, if I wanted to identify the same elements, whatever we have seen just now, let us say I'm going to take your Facebook, and then I wanted to identify this element. So how I'm going to do that? So let's say if you go here and then copy, then what I'm going to do is I'll try to identify this element using XPath. For that, what you have to do is you need to right click. Okay, right click here, inspect, and then click on the element, and then see this has come. What you're going to do is right click on this. There is an option for you to copy XPath, and then copy full XPath. So we will first take copy XPath, and then you will be in this itself, just click here and then control F. Then you will be able to see find by string selector or XPath. So whatever the XPath you have copied, control V to paste, control V. See here, the XPath has come. So 2 / star square bracket at the rate ID is equal to email. This is what, if you see one of one, what does it mean? There is only one element with that particular property. If I click on enter, that will get highlighted. See here, I am clicking enter and that box is getting highlighted. Similarly, if you wanted to identify the other one, see here, the password box got highlighted. Now if I right click and then copy XPath, see what is going to happen. Control F, and then see ID is equal to pass. How to write this we will learn later. For now, what you just need to do is whenever you identify the element, right click on it and then copy, and then copy XPath. So then automatically that will be captured and pasted here. So this is one way. And also you have another option where you will be removing this and then select one more time and then right click and then copy, and then copy full XPath. So once you go here, see here, it has a big path. See, there is a HTML body div 4. There are so many things which has come. This we call it as full XPath. Full XPath. Okay. So there are two things which we are going to discuss in our next class, that is identifying the XPath using absolute XPath and relative XPath. So what is the difference between absolute XPath and what is the difference between absolute and relative XPath, we are going to see in our subsequent sessions. So if I wanted to identify with this element, simply, if you don't know anything also, just identify this element, right click here, copy, and then copy XPath, and then go to this place, control F, and then remove the existing one, paste it here. See, once you recognize the element is identified one of one, then take this and then go to your script. And in the script, what you're going to do is you will be going here, and then I'll change that URL now. I'll change this URL, driver dot find element by dot, you have to take XPath. So XPath, and then within the double quotes, whatever you have copied, you take that dot send keys, and then give ABC or something, whatever you want. But you need to have the application also here, right? So for that, you are going to write driver dot get the URL. So what is the URL? You have the Facebook URL. So we will be taking that and then writing it. So whatever the applications you wanted to work with using the XPath, you can simply make use of this logic and then try to identify the XPath. I'm just removing everything. Right click, terminate and clear, and then run the program. See, it will open and then it will identify the element. So XPath is very, very important for your interview also. I think I have not given the right URL. That's the reason it is going to the other script. Sorry. So let me close this. So I have to run this particular page. So run this, right click, run the program, select this, click on this, and then it should open the Facebook and then it should enter the value. So this way you will be able to identify the elements using XPath also. So you all need to understand whatever the application you look at, what are all the various type of elements you have in the application. If you know, then automatically you will be able to recognize the elements. So if you see, this application has this, we call it as page. So this is called title, and then these are all input boxes. This is checkbox. Like that, you will be having various elements in your application. If you know that, then you will be able to automate the scripts in a easy manner. So that is what, once we understand the XPath concept also, so we will start working on a project where you will be taking some scenarios and automating it. And by that, you will be able to understand how you are going to automate the application end to end. End to end means a starting point to and a validation point. So what is that? We will discuss in that in the next subsequent sessions.